Good morning and welcome to BizTech's Conversation. Our guest today is Alan Lim. Alan is the president of the Malaysian Business Angels Network. Welcome to the show, Alan.
Thank you.
Now, Alan, you've had a very interesting story. You were a corporate guy and then you cashed out and decided to give back. Tell us a little bit more.
That was MBAN. It's a company that I started with two of my good friends.
And what did they do?
It's a media intelligence business.
Okay.
That is a big word that we use. But really what we do is actually media monitoring and media analysis.
Okay.
On overall, we call it the media intelligence business. Started in Malaysia in 1997. And we moved
during the recession, 1997.
It's exactly 2 days. We started in July 1st, 1997. If you remember, the recession started on July 3rd from Thailand.
Yes.
Down. Yes, you remember.
We are old enough.
correctly.
We can. Yes,
That's
of
right.
course.
So we started that in Kuala Lumpur at July 1st, 1997. 99, we moved into Singapore. We have spent 2000 in the year 2000 to Jakarta, 2002 into Manila, and 2003 into Bangkok, and finally the sixth country that we moved into is end of 2004 into Ho Chi Minh City. So that is all the expansion program that we did with MBAN across 6 countries.
And then what led to the acquisition?
What led to the acquisition was it first started on an M&A journey in year 2012.
Was that a deliberate journey? Did you decided that you wanted to go on this exercise? Or was it opportunistic that somebody approached you?
It's among a few options that's open to us.
Okay.
And of course, one of it was the IPO on our own as well. Okay. But finally, we got an offer from a partner that has an operation in Australia called Media Monitor, and telling us that we should merge the two operations and make it into ours is Southeast Asia, theirs is more Australia, New Zealand, China. So make it into an Asia Pacific operations. Okay. And that's how the whole M&A took place. And with that M&A that took place, we put together a legal documents that says that within the next 2 to 3 years, we'll get ourselves listed.
Okay. And
which we did in the year 2014, sometime around June. Okay. And we got ourselves listed in an ASX, Australian Stock Exchange.
So just over 6 years ago?
Yes, that was 6 years ago. It also happened to be, that's a time when we got ourselves listed that I decided to sell all my shares.
Okay.
Left the company during that time, and I've retired since.
Okay, and you've been involved very heavily in angel investment after that, leading obviously to becoming the president of MBAN. What was the reason for that? What was the motivation?
Let me tell you a little bit story. Since but let me make it very short. If you have read the book called Halftime, you will sort of understand what I've done. Basically, the way I look at it is life. After I sold the company is when I started my Halftime. Okay. And anytime before that, during my entrepreneurship days, I call it. Those are the days where I started my company. I focus on winning. I focus on wealth creation for myself, and building something for myself too. But it's all about winning, And what I did was I took some time off, sort of sabbatical. I told myself I'll take a year off right after I left my company after the IPO, and I was figuring out what do I do next in my life. So that is when I remember back that I read the book called Halftime, and it says that in the first half of the life is about winning. Take some time off during halftime, and figure out what you want to do in the second half of your life. And this is a period in the book I remember they used the word, what is significant for you? And I remember very clearly, I wanted to take a year off, but actually I only spent 9 months on it. And I really figured what I want to do. And that was when I figured that I took the most from being an entrepreneur. And in this second half, I want to focus on giving back to entrepreneur. So I couldn't find a better way than getting myself involved in a startup where I'll be dealing with entrepreneurs. So, and how I give back is that I do a lot of mentoring work.
Okay.
And to those companies that I like, I wrote them checks.
Checks. Okay.
And as part of the investment, so it's also part of giving back to the startup world. So that is how it all started for me, how I got into this this world of startups.
That's interesting.
Thanks.
And how does that, and how does being the president of MBAN help you in that journey? Does that help you? Because MBAN does a lot of things. Could you just give us that perspective in terms of, from a helicopter level, what are the key objectives of MBAN?
I think first of all, why I was interested with MBAN, it has a lot to do with when I decided to get into this startup world, I needed to learn a lot about this startup world, right? And that was when I approached MBAN, and instead the Dr. Siva during then was the
president at that time, right?
The president at that time proposed that not only I should be joining them to learn about startup or about angel investing through MBAN, I should join their committee as well, and which I did, because I was really looking to learn a lot more in that particular space. So that's how I got myself involved with the MBAN.
Okay, and MBAN's key charter items, what are the objectives?
Oh yeah, MBAN is an association for the angel investors, and basically what we are really looking to do is to bring angel investing mainstream in Malaysia. So that's the sort of the charter or the work that we are looking to do. So first we onboard, train or educate the angel investors and get them to invest into the startups world.
And also one of the things that you all do is act as a voice for angel investment and also lobby the government in terms of incentives and things like that. Could you tell us more about that?
All right, yes. So first of all, as I mentioned to you just now, it's an association for angel investors. So what we do is that we onboard angel investors as certified members of MBAN.
Do they have to fulfill the criteria of the angel tax incentive scheme? Okay.
That's right. So that is for the angel tax incentive scheme to qualify for that, but also to qualify to be a MBAN certified member. Okay. We go through the same qualifications, and that qualification is either on the personal net worth level, where you have a minimum 3 million personal net worth, or you could qualify to a second way is through your income.
Yeah, which is 300,000, right?
No, it's a personal 180,000.
Okay.
With your spouse is 250,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. But you are right. There is another definition for high net worth, and there is this figure of 300,000. But we adopted the 180 and 250,000, or the 3 million.
Okay.
And with that, you qualify to be our certified MBAN member. And one of the main benefit of it is the angel tax incentives.
Yeah, can you tell us more about that?
Sure. Maybe I can elaborate that quickly. So, being a certified angel investors, you qualify for the angel tax incentives. So, in this case, you can invest up to 500,000 per year, minimum of 5,000, up to 500,000. You can apply the tax incentives on it.
And you are allowed to, how many years do you have to claim it back? I mean, when can you claim it back?
Very good question. I was going to say that, first of all, you need to hold your investment into the company for 2 years.
2 years, okay.
And you can claim on it on the third year.
Okay.
And onwards, that's 500,000 if you do put in or you do invest in various startup up to 500,000, you can claim on it every year.
Okay. And how many members do you have right now?
We just had our monthly meeting a few days ago. The reported number is that we have certified 297 angel investors in Malaysia. So in this case, as of this month.
Okay.
That's the latest number.
And how long have you all been in existence? For 5 years, I believe?
2015 to, yes.
Yeah, 5 years.
Yes, 5 years.
Okay. So can you give us a perspective of what the angel investing landscape is like right now?
Wow. That is a loaded question.
Loaded question. Yes.
If you were to look back at the history, I think angel investing has always been there. Those days, our grandfather, great-grandfather days, right? Someone started for example, a convenience store at the kampong somewhere, and then doesn't have enough money, you got a few friends to chip it in. So angel investing has been then, But today, I think from your perspective or the perspective of your questions, you are asking is startup angel investing.
Absolutely, because
right?
if you look at 20 years ago, nobody was investing. It was very hard to get. And so I'm a .com part 1 entrepreneur. And in 99, 2000, there was hardly any angel investment as such. There was vulture investment, but there wasn't a lot of angel investment.
Yes.
So they were not very founder-friendly terms. Today, the whole landscape has changed. Obviously, one of the things that's democratized things is the ECF platforms.
That's right, P2P,
absolutely.
ECF. Yes.
Because the ticket size is smaller.
Yes.
And so besides MBAN members, what is the estimate of actual angel investors? Because there's a lot of people who are putting $5,000, $10,000 ticket size investments. What do you think that the size of the market is like in terms of real people investing regularly, perhaps safely through the ECF platforms?
Yes.
Safely, and I put that in inverted commas.
I think even the ECF platform are not covering all the angel investors. Angel investors are a very, very unique group of people. They invest their additional money for investment purposes. Some of them does it because family.
Yes, family, friends, and fools.
You're right. So yes, so investor invest based on those, right? Or if you're a startup, you look either family, friend, or fools to give you the money as well, right? As far as the landscape is concerned, how many angels investors are there in Malaysia? They are in the thousands.
Okay, wow.
We have 300 certified, right? 297 certified, right? I personally estimate they are in the close to they are in the thousands. Those that put money into startup. I'm not talking about bricks and mortar included as well.
Fantastic.
So it's
a very vibrant ecosystem. I mean, that's the message I think that's coming out.
That's right. And we less than 2 years ago, we did a market research on our angel investors. Some of the figures that comes out is quite interesting. They are not from the group of again, in the same few thousands angel investors we're talking about. They are not in the age group of beyond 55 years and above. There is. Okay. But there is more around the age of 45.
I would think so, because also the thing is, it is the risk aversion, of course, because when you're older, it's wealth preservation. This is much more risky. So your financial planner will probably tell you, or your risk manager will say, it's about wealth preservation. 45 or so, they're still willing to take a little bit of risk.
Plus, I'm alluding to the fact that they understand tech.
Yes, more. Because they probably were from the tech business.
That's right.
Which follows that Silicon Valley model where people have made money from tech, they invest in their friends, and also in areas that they understand.
Yes. And the other fact that from that, I remember from that particular survey, is that most of them invested in the range of 50 to 100,000 per investment.
And how do you
So-
find that? Oh, sorry, go ahead. No, you go ahead first.
So I find that to be very interesting. A lot of people thought that 50, 100,000 is a lot, right? And bear in mind, in our education class or in our education, we encourage angel investors to invest at least in 10 investment.
Yeah, because
the
it's the law of probability.
of success,
One or two
right?
will only be successful.
Exactly. So if you're talking about an angel investor is putting 50 to 100,000 per investment.
So he's putting in about $500,000.
Exactly, so it's not a small amount. I find that to be very interesting, But for those that are having a less amount to be put into this particular startup space, now a lot of them are doing it through the ECFs.
Yes.
Where they put in between 5 to 25,000.
Correct.
5, 10, 15, 25,000, yeah.
And can I ask you, Alan, in terms of MBAN, do you all have any sort of data? Because I didn't see that in your annual report. Probably too early at that time, your last annual report. What sort of data do you have, or even gut feel, in terms of deals done, in terms of exits and stuff? Are you able to give us some high-level data, at least?
Okay. I was having a discussion with one of the government agency yesterday, and the issue came out about data, right? And what I told them was that this group of investors that's called angel investors, they are high net worth individuals. They are extremely secretive. All right. So we do not have much data. I must tell you upfront about it. They do not reveal their investment, and they are telling the startup that they put the money in not to reveal their name.
Okay.
As well. So we have very little information about them.
Okay.
But just now I mentioned about a research project that we did a couple of years ago, less than 2 years ago, and that was when we actually interviewed the angel investors coming from the angle of MBAN as an association that we needed data, right?
Right.
And that was when we are able to draw up quite a bit of the data. Like I mentioned to you just now, their investment is between 50 to 100,000. These are angel investors.
Yep.
These are not ECF investors. Huh? And they are investing into very early stage, pre-seed to seed. Quite a few of them are investing into that category.
Okay. So the risk appetite is high.
Exactly. And talking about that risk appetite, so we ask another questions. You asked a question about exit just now, right? I do not have an answer for it. But what I can tell you is that in this question that we asked them, what is the expected returns to those angel investors?
Okay.
And this might surprise you. You and I probably are aware that worldwide we are talking about 3 to 4x, right? Over a period of 8 years, with the internal rate of return of 25% or so, right?
Yes, and that will come from 2 out of 10 at best.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Those questions that we asked about that, a huge, quite majority of the percentage, I believe close to 40% or so, are expecting 7 to 8x return.
Okay.
But it makes sense when we dig a bit deeper, because they're going for a very early stage.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, although risk is higher.
Yeah, but your returns will be higher.
So these are angel investors that could that has a much higher risk.
And also
appetite,
risk appetite is one thing. The other thing is they have longer time horizons.
Yes, and you're right. Those that ask for higher X of returns also tell us they are willing to hold up to even more than 10 years.
Which is ideal. If you think about it, tech is perfect because it takes it may take a long time to get traction, but then you have a hockey stick effect, and then your value quadruples overnight, literally.
Yes.
So it's a very different angel ecosystem compared to, say, India, which has a vibrant ecosystem, but there's different types of angel investors. They are the long-term investors. There's also a subsection that on-sell within rounds itself or at the next round, so they take profits within each round. So yeah, this is quite interesting.
True. And that also give me some encouragement, with regards to that, in the sense that it shows that the Malaysian angel investors are, I will put it, educated in that sense, and they are fully aware of what they are getting into, and they know that the horizon they're holding on to the investment is really important in order to get the kind of return they wanted, which go up to 7-8x.
But Alan, so one question I need to ask is this: in the Silicon Valley, somebody can meet you and write you a check. What's the timeline like in Malaysia?
Again, like I said, angel investors are really secretive in the way they do things. But I do my personal investment, so I do work with the angel clubs where we gather together. Quite a few angel investors together.
Speaking of angel clubs, are there a lot of them around, and how are they normally structured? Is it a couple of friends getting together, or how is it structured?
Yeah, there is the unstructured one, just a few of them, good friends. It could be golf buddies, getting together and they get into this, to some more structured ones, where they could actually have even professionals within the group managing the deal flows, after investment.
So your deal flow, including vetting the deals before they let their friends and the group know about it.
Yes. But going back to your earlier questions on how long it will take, my personal best guess is within 3 to 6 months for the investment. So it's not a good time frame, because I can tell you a lot of startups do not have such a runway.
Correct. You need the money yesterday.
That's right. That's right. But I'm afraid to say that it's from the norms that I'm exposed to in the market is 3 to 6 months.
So what advice would you then, as president of MBAN, give young startups or even older startups who are mature in terms of getting themselves ready for angel investment at the various stages?
In the work that we do in MBAN, so we work more with the angels rather than the startup. So we do have, we provide quite a bit of education awareness program to the angels in that sense. And we help them with, we help educate them on the processes that will go through when they are looking to invest into startup, which will help to speed up the investment process, right? But as far as your question is concerned, how can the startup be more prepared so that they could get themselves invested fast? I always have one word that to say with a startup is that prepare your company well.
And what do you mean by prepare the company well? One thing I would think of also is about building relationships, because if it's 3 to 6 months, you've got to start building relationships with people very early on. People invest in people they like, people invest in people they trust.
I have an analogy which I always explain that to the startup. Money, if a dollar note is like this, right? And in each dollar note there's 4 corners to it. In Chinese, in English word, chair has 4 legs, right?
Yeah.
So there's 4 corners of the chair. In the case of Chinese, the 4 corner is called jiao.
Okay.
Jiao sounds exactly the same as leg. So money has 4 legs. I will always tell the startup, never chase after money, because they run faster than you.
Okay.
Right? But your question was alluding to the fact that how to get the investment coming fast, how to get it right, how to get the proper amount invested, right?
And how do you be investor ready?
And investor ready. So here is the answer. What if I can tell you there's a way you can make your startup be as what you are alluding to, where it's like getting the money to chase after you. Now, if the money has 4 legs and you got 2, if money is chasing after you, money will get you.
Correct.
Right? So the difference here is the strategy. How you chasing after money run faster than you. If you can make that shift, where money comes chasing after you, you will have your money.
Of course.
You know?
And one of the things is valuation also is different.
So there is a strategy there.
Okay.
So this startup had to get this strategy correct. You prepare your company right. Never go and chase after your money when you are not ready for it. You know, make sure your validation are done right, your revenue traction are done right, your technology are done right.
Product market fit is demonstrated.
And I will tell you, Brian, investor will be chasing after you. How about that? So if you get it right, investor will be chasing after you. Believe me, I personally have done quite a bit of investment into startup. I love it when I am chasing after the startup. You know, I do not like it when the startup is chasing after me.
Yeah, of course.
Because the psychology behind it, in how I explain money has four legs, huh? It makes sense in that way.
That's very, very good advice. I think our readers and listeners and people who watch us should take that to heart. So coming back to...
Yeah, both the startup or the angel investors.
Absolutely. Both have to really keep that in mind. Now, in terms of MBAN now, moving forward, what are the strategies? What do you have planned for the rest of your term?
That is a very good question. MBAN has always been about developing the angel investors, getting them, building the awareness level about investing into startup, right, through education. But when I first took over, we did sort of we took all our committee member, you know, to an offsite and do some strategy session and all that, and we found that personally, I came to realization that angel investors' pocket is only as deep, and they have limited amount of money they can put into the angel investing. So, and we ourselves advocate no more than 5 to 10%, maximum 10%, right? So the pocket is not that deep.
And 10% of net worth, right? That's
net worth, yeah,
yes.
yes, right, sorry, yeah. So I've been thinking along that line and says that where else other than angels or the VC that the startup ecosystem could actually get the money from? And I realized that there is one space that's not been done, or rather in the whole world is not really been done well, is that for startup to work with corporates, you know, not only for investment, but for market access, for mentoring. There's so many other things that a startup can work with the corporates.
And actually that's a white space.
Exactly. And so we thought that going back to your question, should be where MBAN should be looking at in helping this whole startup ecosystem.
Okay, and I think that that's something that we should take in a future conversation with somebody else from MBAN who's probably responsible for this.
Yes, most appreciate if we could do that.
So Alan, thank you very much. It's been an enlightening conversation. It was a pleasure having you on the show. I'm Brian Fernandez on BizTech Conversations. Please check us out on www.biztech.asia for business and technology conversations.